Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're doing a recap and review of Love Island USA Season 2 22. So we're going to start out with the couples as I normally do it. We didn't get too much on Sher and Jalen on today's episode, and honestly, the only thing that I could get on these two, I know Jalen got a text about the Zodiac party. Everybody was excited about it. And then everything else led them right out the door. She wasn't chosen. He wasn't chosen to be a couple of the folks that stayed. Because remember, we lost 4 Islanders tonight, and they were 2 of them. So it wasn't too much content on Jalen and Sher, and who knows, probably they knew what was coming, so they didn't really give them the spotlight in this episode. But honestly, I couldn't even grade them at this point because we had nothing on them. So let's move on to Mackenzie and Aaron, and they got half of the show because today was a 2-hour episode. And the thing about Mackenzie, her biggest issue, first of all, Aaron was like, he had to choose somebody, and she was the only one left. And see, the thing is, she still hung up on this whole thing with Connor, and the girls, Laurel, all of them in the beauty room was trying to give her again some constructive information, and she's not hearing it, because she's so stuck on the fact of how everything should have went. Justine was telling her, you need to approach this in a different way. And she was like, no, that's not it. That's not it. I'm upset about the speech he gave. And, Justine told her, hey, I had a talk with Connor. And, he still have feelings for you and things like that. But the other issue is that Connor is with her best friend, Moira. And then she's feeling some kind of way about that. She's thinking that whole speech that Connor gave at the recoupling ceremony was very hurtful. And he's trying to stick it to her. It's, there was nothing left here for her, honestly. I think she made a big mistake by choosing Jalen just to stick it to Connor when Connor came down himself. But this other thing with Connor moving over to Moira, did Connor actually do that to stick it back to Mackenzie? That goes back to what we were saying about this couple being really toxic. And Moira is not that far off. I'm not saying she's toxic, but it's just that, I don't know. I just think that they were playing so many games in Mackenzie's, situation. It kind of blew up in her face, and she never really made any connections. And, it's the same thing with Moira. And in regards to Aaron, he's just caught in the middle. He was the default guy. He was the last one who had to make a choice. She was the last one available. And, they just ended up with each other. So, and of course, there was no connection there. There was nothing that was going to be built there because she still hung up on Connor. And, honestly, it looked like to me, and you tell me if you guys think that this is the case, is that Connor was pretty much done. I could see it in his face. I think he got tired of all the tears, all of the emotional stuff. So, and Aaron is just like, okay, you know what, whatever. Hey, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do to take her mind off of Connor. It is what it is, and, unfortunately, that led to her demise. But, they did have some conversation. And, she put it out there to him that, I really had some feelings. I made the wrong decision by picking Jalen. I just wanted to see what you were going to do. And when you came downstairs, and I had somebody else, it hurt. And then you hurt me in the process by picking my friend and this speech you gave. The thing is, both the two of them are hurting each other with their actions. So honestly, as much as like a lot of them were saying she's one of the original Islanders, she's one of the OG Islanders, and unfortunately it just didn't work out. I think because of all the game plans, if they had did this right, her and Connor, I think they would have been great together. But because they were too busy playing games with each other and Connor not being truthful, it blew up in his face. And of course, she ended up in the bottom again when they had to make a selection of the top 4 couples. Of course, she wasn't one of them. And the guys had to make a decision on which girl to keep, and hey, they decided it wasn't going to be her. They wanted to make sure it was somebody who had a connection already. And unfortunately, it wasn't her. So, I think maybe it was for the best for her. Maybe she can go and, figure out what she wants. Who knows? After everything is over, like she said, maybe they'll meet up in the outside world. I honestly think they will. You guys tell me what you think. Because there's, no matter how crazy it is between these two, there's definitely some connection with these two. It's been like that from day one with them. So, and with everything that's coming up in this episode, I think Connor's going to be the next one else that's gone. Because he doesn't have a connection with Moira. There's like, oh, it was just the first day and I knew I had to connect. Nah, I don't believe that. I truly don't believe that. I do believe that, Mackenzie and Connor had a connection, but I just think they played too many games and it just got out of control. And unfortunately, they ended up breaking up. And of course, she's no longer in the villa. So I wish her the best. And I know that her fellow Islanders wish her the best, and they'll probably keep up with her. Hopefully, if there's a reunion show, we'll get to see exactly what's going on with Mackenzie and, what she's going to do from that point. It's just sad that it didn't work out for her. And, like I said, Justine did try to tell her, but she didn't want to listen. A couple times she tried to tell her, and she didn't listen. All right, let's move on to Justine, since we're talking about her and Caleb. So Justine had to have a little moment to herself because she misses her family and she misses being at home. And, she's hoping that her parents and family is still proud of her and if they're thinking of her. And, of course, Caleb is concerned about her, as he should. If this is his love interest, he should care about her feelings, which he definitely showed that. And he's like, hey, what's going on? You missing home? And she was like, yeah, I'm missing home, She also said it makes it a little bit easier that you're by my side. And I like that. I see more of a deeper connection with Caleb than she ever had with Trey and definitely Jeremiah, because they were friend zoning each other. But, Caleb was like, being here, it really paid off because I'm being here connected with you. And, it was so funny. She was with the girls, toilet papering, the prank and all of that. But, I love Justine's spirit, her energy, her confidence is building, and Caleb is helping with that. I think her melanin is so beautiful. Her skin is so smooth and chocolate. I just think she's absolutely gorgeous. Caleb is absolutely gorgeous. They make a great couple. It's going to be interesting to see where these two go. And I hope they stick it out in the long run outside of the villa, because not only do they have a regular personal connection, they definitely have a sexual chemistry as well. So we'll see how that goes. But they also got to participate in the Cards of Destiny game, where the card you had to ask questions about your relationship, and then the second card is where your relationship was going to go. And their question was, are you in love? And I think his card was like, oh yeah, for certain, or something like that. And I could see them going that way. I mean, I love the way they look together. Kind of like how I was saying in previous episodes about Johnny and Cely. These two are very, very attractive couple. I like the energy that they have. I like how he protects her feelings and her heart. I like how she's able to be vulnerable with him, and he's vulnerable with her too. So I really like the way that they're going and the chemistry that they have. So, I mean, you guys tell me what you think. I've been reading some of the stuff in the comments, and majority has been overwhelming about their connection. There's a couple of them that's like, I don't know, maybe. So, you guys let me know what you think about these two. I'm going to rank them as a 10 this week because it doesn't seem like she had that fears. They are so comfortable with each other. They don't mind touching each other. They don't mind kissing each other. You know, when they're sleeping, they're cuddling, you know, things like that. So I'm really, really vibing with this couple. And I liked how Caleb was giving Johnny a hard time. I thought that was so funny about trying to scare him after. We'll talk about that date later. So let's talk about Moira and Connor. And honestly, Moira, this is guy number 3, I think, because there was James and then there was Aaron and now there's Connor. And this whole dynamic, as she was saying, being caught up in the middle before Mackenzie left, because she was Mackenzie's best friend, you know, I just thought that was kind of crazy. And, you know, and Mackenzie was saying it was also hurtful. But, I mean, with the conversation Moira was having with Connor, it's like, oh my God, I'm happy that I'm with you. And the speech that he gave made her feel warm inside and all these different things. And it's like, okay, I guess. But every time she gets with a new person, her whole statement sounds exactly the same, maybe a few different words. So it's like, is it genuine with each person that she started off talking to? You know, so I don't see this here. And honestly, I truly agree with one point that Mackenzie made. I honestly think that Connor did this in retaliation because, again, playing games, Mackenzie did what she did, picking Jalen. Okay? But as for Connor and Moira, I don't see any chemistry there. And they also participated in the Cards of Destiny game. And, you know, it was like, are they going to kiss or fall or something? And he was like, for certain. And they made them kiss. But I didn't feel any spark there. And I don't even think they felt any spark there. And you can tell by their demeanor that there's really nothing there. However, America did vote them as one of the top 4 couples, surprisingly, even though he only been with her for 1 day. Yeah, okay. But, of course, he was part of the group that voted for the girl, and that girl that wasn't able to stay was, of course, his ex, Mackenzie. And like I said, when I was doing the commentary on McKenzie and Aaron, there's some connection there. And unfortunately, it's over. It's over. So maybe they'll get together outside. But then Moira has a conversation with Laurel about, you know, how she think everything is going. And she's like, oh my God, I don't feel any more pressure. And I can be with him. And I can talk to him. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. So we had new guys come in. And this one new guy by the name of, and I think it's Noah, got a text saying that he was going to take someone on a brunch, and he picked her. And one thing about Noah is that he was excited beforehand coming in to get with Moira and get to know her. And, you know, Moira saw him for the first time, and she was pretty excited. Noah has, I think he said he hasn't dated in like 2 years. But he likes the fact that she's really nice. She's super real. She's easy to talk to. And they had their little date. And of course, Connor and Justine are kind of peeking in to see what was going on. But I don't know. It's too early for me to get a read on these two yet. You guys tell me what you think. But he claims that he feels that he wants to get closer because he thinks there's a good vibe with her. So, Moira, you really don't know. She's been the same way with every guy that she's talked to. And I think this makes the guy number 4. So, Noah, you're guy number 4. I'm hoping that there's a connection because, time is running out. I got to see how many episodes is left. But, Moira, you've been here from day 1. You got to figure out what the deal is. What are you going to do? Who do you have a connection with? Are you going to build one with this Noah guy? So, and just to give you a little bit of background on Noah, he's 24. He's from St. Louis. He works in home health. And, he's looking for somebody who is confident. And, I don't know. Moira is hard to read because what comes out of her mouth doesn't match the expressions on her face sometimes. So I don't know what to read on them. But he goes back in and he tell the guys how his date went, and he was saying that the date went great, and he's looking forward to getting to know her, and he really likes the connection that he has with her. So I don't know. We'll see. Like I said in an earlier episode, Moira really know that she can make some faces. And it's hard to read sometimes. So we'll see, how that goes. All right, let's talk about another couple who was not in our top 4. And that was Kierstan and Laurel. And honestly, I like these two because Kierstan his personality is changing because of Laurel. Kierstan is saying, that they're surprised about their relationship, and a lot of other people in the villa are also surprised about their relationship. And honestly, from the previous experiences with Kierstan, and I'm trying to think if he had another connection in there. I don't remember. It's been so many episodes. But it was like he was holding back and he's reserved. Whereas with Laurel, he's more vulnerable with her. Some of the things that he feels that he need to do with her, And she's saying, hey, it's like we've known each other forever. And she's not used to guys who were gentle and kind like Kierstan. And Kierstan did not show those type of traits prior to meeting her. So there's definitely some reason of the connection that they have that he's choosing to be different for her. So I'm going to actually give this particular couple a 7. Because I want to see a little bit more from Kierstan. She's a very sweet girl. And, of course, they didn't get picked as the top 4. But both the guys, all of the guys that was in the top 4, they voted to keep Laurel because she has, like Johnny said, she's this girl we're picking is honest, she's sweet, she's real, and she have a real connection. And they picked her. And I didn't see nobody else but Kierstan staying because why would you pick Laurel and take the guy that she has an interest away? So I automatically knew that Kierstan wasn't going to go anywhere. And Kierstan said, we're choosing this guy because he also is, has changed, and he's honest, and he know how to be honest with himself, and things are happier for him right now. So I'm glad that these two were able to stick around because I really want to see where Kierstan and Laurel go. And you guys let me know what your rating is for this couple. Do you think that they're going to go far outside of the villa? Are they a love story waiting to bud? Because it's possible. I'm seeing a different Carrington. I mean, tell me guys what tell me what you think. But Laurel is definitely happy about this. And the other thing that she was really upset about is the fact that Sher left. Because her and Sher was the only two girls from Casa Amora that came over. Because the other girls were dismissed, which is Miss Mercedes, haha. But just the mere fact that Cher was basically her only friend who she made a connection with, that whole situation had ended. And it was funny on Kirsten's reactions when it came to that. And let's talk about this couple, Kirsten and Calvin, because these two are very interesting. Because she was still hung up on Carrington, which that's why she was feeling some kind of way about making that choice for him to stay. But she was also saying that she see the connection that he has with Laurel. So, but she was telling Calvin how everything is falling into place. He's so smooth and suave and know how to draw you in. And then of course he got nervous and he was like, I just love. And she was like, already? And I don't think he was saying I just love you. I think he was going to make a different statement. But she had told the girls that she's interested in continually to get to know him and seeing how everything was going to go. But if I had to rate this couple, which of course things are going to change in a little bit, and we'll get into that in a few, I don't see it with these two. I just don't. And even before, of course, as we well know, Kierstan put him in the friend zone, I knew that was coming. She claimed, oh my God, I want to get to know him. I'm so excited about it. And then boom, she dropped him in the friend zone in this particular episode. So I feel sorry for Calvin because, like he said, this is the second or the third time he's been dropped into the friend zone. He's not making any real connections with anybody, and so he's probably going to be the next one out, especially if she makes a connection with, one of the new guys. They actually, I don't think they had an opportunity to do anything in specific that we saw on screen with the Destiny card game. Oh, yes, they did. I'm sorry. They did. And it was something about the fact of, will they have a real connection and if something was like for certain. But I don't see it. That's probably why it wasn't that memorable to me. But they were part of that top 4. And they also had to make a decision, which I'm wondering how they get to be in the top 4. It's just not there. I could be wrong. This is just my opinion. But I just didn't see it with these two. Okay? So, Calvin and her are, again, sitting down having a conversation. And especially after the girls, told her, you need to talk to him. Because if you don't know how you feel about this dude, you need to tell him that. So they toasted it off, but then we have a new guy in the villa who's interested in her because he got that text, and that's Bennett. Bennett is a 26-year-old executive assistant in LA, and he's looking for somebody to be like his best friend in a relationship. And he picked a person to go on a date with him because he got that text. And their date was in the middle of the little villa area. And that was Kierstan. And, of course, Kierstan was like, oh, my God, this is the first time I've been excited in a while. And, of course, that's making Calvin feel some kind of way, it looked like to me he should know that there's nothing there. He claimed, oh my God, I'm nervous, blah, 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 but it's not there. So anyway, with their particular date, Again, she's excited, and she hasn't been this excited in a while. Bennett said that he had his eye on her the first time that he came into the villa. So he's been watching her from afar. And of course, the girls are also watching their connection from above. And they started talking about family and, asking him, are you close with your family? And he was like, oh, yeah, of course, especially my dad. And, she was like, I'm close with my dad, too. He's in law enforcement. I have a family that's in law enforcement as a career. And they talked about their love language, which is physical touch. And that's both their love languages. Because Kierstan had that conversation before with Carrington. And Carrington didn't like the physical touch thing. He had a different one. Whereas this guy, Bennett, is exactly matched with physical touch. And I see some interest there. I kind of want her to explore this one. And like the girls that are overlooking upstairs, they was looking like, yeah, I think this might be the move she need to make. I don't think it's there with Calvin. I could say that over and over again, but it's not there. With this guy, Bennett, I would definitely like her to have something fresh and new instead of a guy that's been, maybe with one of the other villa members. This guy is new, right off the cuff. She can kind of get to know him. And it's the same thing she told the girl. She was like, I really like him. I really find a connection with him. I don't know what I'm going to do with Calvin. And of course, as I said previously, she's going to toss him in the friend zone. And yeah, it's not cool for him, but the connection is not there. It just isn't there. And with Bennett, it seemed to be. So I would like to see where this go. You guys comment in the comment section what you think about Bennett and Kierstan, because she needs something. She needs to let the whole idea of Carrington go. And if she's going to find a connection with Bennett, go for it. Move forward. Carrington has already moved forward to Laurel. He's a whole new person with her. You need to explore this particular option. You need that conversation had to be had with Calvin. And unfortunately, Calvin is probably one of the next ones that's probably going to, him and Connor, they're just floating in limbo right now, because it seems that on Moira's date, she had some form of an interest. And now with Kierstan, she has new interest in 2 out of the 3 guys as well. So Calvin, they just basically hugged it out and friend zoned each other. All right, so let's talk about our last couple. And I saved them for last because normally lately they haven't had a lot of content. But this episode, it started out kind of slow, but it got kind of interesting at the end. And they had a conversation about her missing her mom and her sister, and she would like him, and he and Johnny was like, you know what, I would be interested in meeting her too, and I would say hola. And he was like, I don't know if my Spanish would be okay with her. And she laughed it off. She kept it light. She said that there were 16 of us in the family. And, Johnny's like, I like where we are. We're emotionally strong. And I'm hoping we can be that way not only in the villa, but outside of the villa as well. This is something that they had never expected coming in here, and then they talked about Mackenzie and how, she had her time. It's up. But again, right now, I'm still giving them a 9.5, because I'm wondering, granted, he went through his thing. And by the way, they did also do the Destiny cards, and they were talking about, are we going to focus on each other outside of the villa? And yes, they are. That was pretty much a given. I wonder were the cards scripted, but I just thought that their connection is still strong. But, with Johnny, I'm hoping he learned from his experience as Cely has given him a pass or a second chance. So he was also one of the guys that was part of, and he was actually the spokesperson for the guys to choose who stay. And of course, he chose Laurel, which, I discussed a little bit earlier. But, I'm hoping, I'm rooting for this couple just as much as I'm rooting for Justine and Caleb. It's just that I need to know where both of them stand. And as we get further into the show, there's a little bit of concern when it comes to the fact that this other new guy, Bennie, has an interest in Cely. Now, originally, before the whole Casa Amora thing, both Johnny and Cely had discussed, we're all in, it's you and I, nobody else. And of course, we knew what happened with Johnny. It almost cost him a relationship. He said he think that it almost cost him staying on the villa too, but he still got voted in. So I'm curious to see, because it's interesting when Mr. Bennie got that, and I said Mr. Bennie. Mr. Bennie got that text about choosing someone to go on a date with. The approach that Cely took with that, she was excited and she was happy that she was chosen to go on a date. And that kind of, I'm like, oh my God. Didn't we learn from Mackenzie not to play games? We see how that blew up in her face. Trying to say, oh yeah, I want to make him sweat a little bit. Whatever karma Johnny's getting from the whole Casa Amora thing, let the universe play that out and let him learn from that. But as we see coming up in next episode, her playing this role, and Johnny, you got a lot of nerve for your reaction to Bennie taking her on a date, is highly suspect. I'm going to give you a side eye on that, because everything you did in Casa Amora, now you sitting in the hot seat and you don't know what to do. Okay, well, maybe you need that, keep that fire up under you. But these two are going to be a challenge to each other. And it seems to me that Johnny is extremely competitive. And it didn't help that Caleb was egging him on. Like, dude, you might got some competition. You maybe, are you nervous? You look like you're nervous. What if she go down there and it click and it work out? And, and he's like, oh, I'm good. Until, Caleb kept pushing the issue. And, he had to look at himself in the mirror. And then they kept comparing him to this dude, calling him calling Bennie Johnny 2.0. And that Johnny is Bennie is his doppelganger, So this is going to be interesting dynamic. I don't know. This might put some cracks in the foundation depending on how too playful Cely gets with this to try to make him sweat a little bit. He was hurting from just seeing you go through what you go through. And listen, I know a lot of people might not agree with me. Hey, yeah, you need to let him sweat. But usually when you start to play games, it can have a way of coming back to bite you. And I hope that it doesn't do that with her. But looking at next week, tomorrow's, I should say, episode, I don't know. We'll see. So Cely and Bennie did go on their date. And, he was asking her some questions, like, hey, what are you looking for? And she was like, I'm looking for somebody to be 100% loyal, somebody that I can trust. And, she was like, well, why did you pick me for this date while Johnny's up there being a spy? He said, well, because I'm looking for someone that's cool. You seem like your wife material, and even though she seemed like she was definitely entertaining, there was a little hesitation. I also noticed the difference in their body language. So it wasn't like they were really close up on each other. There was some space. There was some serious space between the two of them, which I'm glad it was put that way, as if you can notice in this scene, So there's a boundary there. Now, he did mention his tattoos on his chest, take his shirt off, and she was definitely looking at his tattoos. And he had no problem showing his tattoos, and he's fit, and I mean, he's very attractive. So, I mean, I don't know what Cely's going to do. Is her love, because, I mean, she definitely got a deep connection with Johnny. Is it strong enough to endure what this guy has coming? Because he's definitely telling, I mean, she told him, I'm with Johnny, and I'm pretty solid on that. But Bennie is like, you know what? Explore your options, because you most definitely have options now. And she was like, oh, I got options now? And he was like, oh, yeah. So, Johnny, you're going to have your work cut out for you. It's going to be interesting. You watch your insecurities, and we'll see what happened with this couple. So, let's do our post notification shout out. If you want to shout out, comment down below, and I will pick people. So, the first one is Tony Brooks. Thank you so much for engaging on my channel. You guys, if you please smash the like button. Also subscribe so you continue to get content. I do Love Island. I do Married at First Sight. I'm doing the upcoming Bachelorette and some of the other love reality shows. So comment, subscribe, like, and then I also will shout you out. Our next person is Joyce Anderson. Thank you so much for engaging in the channel. And Baskin Anner, thank you as well. So until tomorrow, we will see you next time. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you then.